right now because there is nobody else. But let's say there were. You could indeed do that. So we are constantly adding new functions for our fake currency. We
Are
will
you talking about your like virus coin?
Yes.
That's right,
The
indeed.
rug pull we were the thing
Yes.
you told me before we're gonna rug pull.
That's exactly right. We're going to take everybody's fake money away from them after we give it to them.
Yeah, and trust me,
Yeah.
you'll get your share too, Dylan. I know we said we'd get that to you before the show, but I'm sure it'll come through soon. We are paying
By the
you
way,
in Trump
for
coin.
my chatters who are joining the chat, I do want you to know that it's no pressure to join the chat whatsoever. Federal authorities are monitoring those who hit welcome. ICE is monitoring the chat, but don't worry about it. You can join the Discord at any point.
And
Have
if you don't join,
unironically worried about that at all? Have you been worried?
I'm on an ICE list. I know
Well,
I'm
sure.
I know I'm on a list.
After
I've seen. I saw them take out the thing that they entered the database with. The database they say they don't have. Take my picture like 20 fucking times, and like they stood there. They entered that shit in, man. They were entering. I bet they're like hair color, eye color. They're like guessing my height. They better have said 5'10". They better have said 5'10".
hopefully, yeah, they better not put you down to
this man.
Yeah, don't put him down to single digits. Average height, my goodness, one should be so ashamed.
I'm 1 inch above average, and I will be designated as such in regard.
Hold on to that inch. I myself, 1/4 inch above average. But I'm gonna. You know what? It's not enough to make me tall, but I am not short. Technically speaking, I am not short. That's good enough for me.
I stand as a king in southern Indonesia. Probably.
You are the exact average height, Dylan. 5'10" is the exact average height. I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
I am the man. Okay. You know what? New narrative. I am the working man. I represent the masses.
Now, hang on.
New narrative.
This is important to me. My understanding is that if we're looking at the U.S., the average is 5'10", but the global average is 5'9". I really want to be on that global average. So I'm hoping that statistic's the correct one. I don't want to go to Tokyo every time I want to feel tall.
When I go to Ukraine, I am a giant. When I come home, I am but a man.
Are you? Wait, how
I have no clue. They're like, some of them are tall, some of them are short. I don't like an average. I have no clue. But
you mean in the middle of the drone missions, you didn't bust out the measuring stick to just be like, hang on, my ego needs this.
We're all kind of in a hole,
Sure.
So it's like, it's not really going around with a measuring stick. You can just cramp little basement.
Well, I'm just saying, priorities.
It's true. It is important. I needed to check if my guards in Pokrovsk were Chad.
Hey Dylan, can you throw this in your chat to get people into the Discord?
I did throw it
cool.
into my chat.
Cool.
I think they just don't want to be monitored by ICE.
You know what? That's understandable.
You don't have to come on with your camera, everybody.
But I do. If you're in my chat, you're already monitored by ICE. By the way,
yeah, you're already done for.
So you might as well jump in and just give them all the information that they want.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Be the coolest person to go up against the fascist wall. Okay, guys.
They can't send all of us to Uganda.
So I sent the link in chat as a call-in link, boys. Okay. If you guys want to jump in and like ask me something, argue with me about something. If you're just gonna come in and say I'm cool, please don't. Okay. Come in here and have something interesting to say. If not, I'll ban you, and I don't know.
And you'll get no grip. More importantly,
you'll get no Reich marks from the people who run this.
Yeah, eventually we're hoping to transition to just running Argentinian pesos through the marketplace of ideas. We figure they'll probably need any economic boost that they can possibly get, and hopefully we'll be there capitalizing.
Well, that's worth less than Griff coin. Why would you do that?
Well, I'm just saying, if we had all of Argentina operating their pocketbooks through our Discord server, that would be great for us.
Yeah,
I think. Even though it might give things.
You'd be surprised by how many really serious organizations run everything through Discord. You'd be very surprised.
Yeah,
how many people have been killed through Discord?
Apparently, there was an election in Nepal that was hosted through Discord. Was there not?
There was.
Last revolution.
That's true.
So yeah. Hopefully they don't stick to their guns with this whole everybody's got to like show a photographic evidence of their entire body to Discord in order to sign on, or whatever plan it is they're trying to roll out in March.
Is they're doing that? Is they really? I mean, I've been on Discord for forever. Why would they need me to age verify anything? They just want to sell my biometric data.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would seem so. They're gonna, they're
What are
taking
they
us for
planning
all
to
we got.
lock behind that? Anything? Are they just going to watch their user base disappear after they lock features, or what are they?
I'm not sure. I
What
would
are they
prefer
gonna
to
hold hostage for
sensationalize
that?
on the headline than actually read the article. But what I do know is that apparently after this plan was announced, there was a huge spike in Google searches for Discord alternatives. So hopefully they'll see the writing on the wall and maybe walk back their plans a little bit, or maybe we'll have a nice alternative to this place that we currently. And then I'll get to do all the work again to set everything up in the server and get the bot running. I look forward to doing all of that once we find our new home, if that should occur. Since this is now officially a pipe episode, Dylan, what have you got there for your pipe situation? Oh, he's currently talking to somebody else.
Sorry, I was talking to my boyfriend. What?
Oh, all good. I was just inquiring about your pipe situation. You've busted out a pipe. What are you gonna put in that there pipe if you feel comfortable sharing?
That
hash.
There we go.
There we go.
Well then, if it's that kind of party, I suppose.
Wait, Kyle, wait, not on stream, not visibly. Do better. That's.
Is it illegal where you work?
No, I wasn't sure of the exact rules. I wasn't sure of the exact rules. It's very legal here. We're one of the first legalized states.
We legalized it here too. I voted for it. I voted for legalization in Maryland.
God, that was the first time I felt patriotic since I read Noam Chomsky at 14. It was the first time I was like, we're back to doing freedom shit, okay? There's an interesting question. Who's the
only
most
two things that flutters the flag of patriotism in my heart is a war and some weed.
I was gonna ask, what is the most disappointing person that you found out was on the Epstein files?
I never fuck Chomsky. Fuck Chomsky. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to be too mean to Chomsky.
Sure.
But like Chomsky was wrong about Cambodia.
Yep.
Chomsky was wrong about Bosnia.
Yep.
Chomsky was wrong about Ukraine. Chomsky was friend with Epstein like post conviction.
Yeah.
Post conviction. Not before, and he had no clue. Post conviction, they were still chatting back and forth, and he does not like to talk about it. He's not very open about it. And so, like, if Chomsky wants to go talk linguistics, what he studied in, what he went to school for, then he can go do that. But he can go study
nobody's asked him about linguistics in 40 years.
But that's not, nobody talks about him about linguistics. It's always the politics stuff. And it's not that he never has any good idea. It's just that he's gotten it wrong so many times on the issues that I specifically focus on that like it's like impossible for me to like really be like, man, Chomsky's the shit. I also didn't really grow up with Chomsky, that's like when I was coming of age politically, that Bernie was hitting the scene. So like I could go and find other left-wing American inspirations than Noam Chomsky. So I never built that big attachment to Noam.
Well, I'm kind of curious to know if Black Widow is going to want to talk a little bit about Epstein. Let's bring Black Widow into the show since Black Widow is currently in the waiting room. Black Widow, you are on the show. How are you doing? You're currently muted, so you'll want to turn off that microphone, or rather turn it on, maybe would be a better way to say it. Have you got any thoughts about the Epstein situation?
Or what did you want to talk about? Take it either way.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Black Widow.
Can you hear me?
Hey,
we sure can.
Welcome to the Marketplace of Ideas. You have a question?
Good to have you here.
I have some thoughts about the Epstein situation.
Well, let's hear them. Oh, before you start though, since you're on the Marketplace of Ideas, and we like to sort people into ideological teams here. Do you have an ideological leaning that you'd like to announce? You can say no.
How would you describe yourself politically?
Independent.
Independent. Okay, great.
Fair. Well then, yeah. Give it to us, Black Widow. What are you thinking about Epstein?
I think that we need to lean on Melania. I think
Melania
she's
Trump?
the weak link.
You think she's
You
the
think-
weak link?
And
What
if you
makes her
lean
the
on
weak
her,
link?
she's gonna crack.
Yeah? You think she can't
That's
take
what I
it?
think. She can't take it.
Well, she's been fairly well insulated as of late. She's got all these benefits coming her way in the form of a movie about her.
Millions of dollars, status.
Yeah, lots of money. She's got a lot to lose, it would seem. What makes you think that she's going to be the one to crumble and spill everything on the floor?
I just, it's just a gut feeling that I have.
All right.
Dylan, what do you think? Do you think Melania is worth pushing on in terms of trying to make any headway with this Epstein stuff? Or do you even put any stock into the Epstein situation? Do you think it's all a waste of time?
I mean, I don't think it's a waste of time. I think that, it's obviously not just a Trump problem. It's like a bipartisan problem. I mean, this goes through Bush, this goes through Obama, this goes through Biden, this goes through Trump. But Trump is the current president, and when the scandal gained the most public attention, Trump is president of the United States. So ultimately, it's his responsibility to try to reassure the public that the government is not trying to cover up evidence to help Epstein's co-conspirators get away with their crimes and try to cover for them when survivors, want transparency. I don't know if Melania is the weak link, especially since was he with Melania when him and Epstein were that close? I mean, we're talking like 2005, like 2000
before,
to
yeah.
2005, like this period. I don't know if which, I hate to put it this way, I don't know which woman Trump was with at that point. He kind of,
I don't think
They
Trump
kinda-
does
he-
either.
he-
I don't know if he does either.
he might not remember.
Now, well, the speculation has been that she was introduced to Trump by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So I guess that's what Black Widow might be building on here. Is that accurate? That's where you're coming at this?
Black Widow. Is that where you're coming?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying that Melania has been speculated to be connected to. The speculation is that I don't know if anything's come out in the documents yet to prove it, but the speculation is that she was introduced to Trump by Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. So presumably that's where you're building your theory, then, yeah.
That's correct.
Well,
What about all the pictures of her and Maxwell and Trump and Epstein? I think those are all AI generated?
I don't think they're AI generated. I think that they're definitely red flags. They don't prove anything. It supports a narrative. It doesn't support. There are no facts to back that narrative up. Is my understanding of the situation.
Yeah,
Gents,
just association alone hasn't been enough for anybody that's in their base to be worried. So I really don't think this could be the issue that overturns it, unless there's something somewhere in the Epstein files that someone can get a hold of. Unless there's that piece of dirt, but presumably it's not out there, or else we would have seen something before. Prosecutions from the government if there were reasons to do that. Yeah, I think a lot of this is just that the American people need to see the Epstein files so that we have some sort of closure and understanding of the ties, and not so much that there's anything like hardcore that's prosecutable or anything like that. So I don't know if there would be anything in there or surrounding it that would be leverage to break Melania. I feel like she's been in that corrupt den of thieves for so long that I don't know what brings her out. I mean, she is probably just as self-interested as anybody else around there. So if there is a point of leverage, then but I think there's too much that's just keeping her in there.
I think there's probably more money and security in being close to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Well,
for
if not
now, we'll see.
Sure. Well, if
10 years from now we might be reading a tell-all about after he's disgraced and whatnot. Could be any day.
Probably be dead at that point, and then she's a 65-year-old widow in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, at that point, I mean, what she could get a book deal out of it, maybe even benefit further. If
and
not
maybe more people will read it than people watch the movie. My God, that box office. Oof.
It didn't do particularly well, unless of course you're talking about the audience score, which is suspiciously disparate from the critic score. Interesting that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had conservative groups that were buying up tickets. Like I think we had reports of that happening with some of the like Daily Wire movies or some of these other conservative things where they were buying up tickets for people that didn't show up so that they could increase the box office numbers for these things.
Well, if not Melania, do either of you gents think that there's anybody worth betting on to be an egg that could crack and give way to some more gas for this fire of the Epstein files?
A little speculatory.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's lots of
Goldman Sachs, the chief legal counsel, the Goldman Sachs. I mean, they seem to be like, they said they weren't that close, but like the more information that's coming out, I mean, they seemed somewhat close. Like a lot of these people who are being dragged in the public spotlight, if they think, okay, I'm associated with Epstein, I can't get rid of that's there now, that's public record. Maybe I can save myself if I sink everyone else. Maybe if I sink enough of them, they'll let me come on the buoy, you know? I don't know besides that, though, because, I mean, maybe some of his former staff, maybe, Epstein, you know, like he had janitors and stuff. People who did work on the island, you know? So it could be something like some person named, like, Jorge that we don't know, and it doesn't have, like, international recognition.
Yeah, it would seem that more dominoes need to fall before we really make any headway, and it could be another thing that's tied to Democrats having success in the midterms. Perhaps if we can get more momentum via more Democrats in the House, or I mean, maybe even the Senate, if we're lucky, we might be able to push a bit harder on that. Black Widow, do you feel
final thoughts for us?
Yeah, anything to close out with?
Yeah, I just, what do you think about the Dalai Lama being in the Epstein files?
Well, the Dalai Lama did have that one weird incident where he like gave that kid a raspberry on the belly or some shit. That was kind of weird.
There's been some over intimacy reports from the Dalai Lama recently, so sadly not surprising, I guess, but I haven't looked into those specifics.
It's so sad.
There was the thing on the stomach. There was the suck my tongue thing he said, but that also could have been like a loss in translation. There's a Tibetan tradition where you stick out your tongue to say like hi. It's like very, I don't know much about it, but it is a real thing. And so he could have been referencing that, and he's an old man. It's lost in translation. He might be starting to lose it. I mean, it could be that he was a diddler. I mean, and he was a diddler with Jeffrey. It could also be that Jeffrey was a very well-connected man, and it is not that hard to actually get to meet the Dalai Lama. I know people who've met the Dalai Lama. I mean, like he's a pretty, like, you know, I guess he shakes a lot of hands. So it could be nothing. It could be something. And that's part of the argument that the government was making, that when you release all these files, you could get a lot of people who weren't, you know, really implicated in crimes. You could embarrass them. Yeah. It's kind of hard to believe that that's their intention, though, when they're redacting the people under co-conspirator, but not redacting everyone else.
And like after they ran on it as a campaign issue, that is just the most astonishing thing, the fact that they thought that they could use it as a campaign issue.
Exactly.
It's funnier when you realize that if you go and you listen to the people talking about Epstein, you listen to Kash Patel, they're like, we're gonna release it all. We're gonna release it all. We're gonna drain the deep state. It's gonna be out there. You listen to Dan Bongino, oh hell yeah, we're gonna release it all. We're gonna release it all. The deep state better be scared. The deep state better be scared. You go to anybody else who was asked about it that ended up being administration, RFK, whoever, you know, that's the tone they take. You go to Trump and you actually listen to him talk about it beforehand. They're like, would you release the Epstein files? He says, yeah. But you know, I don't know how important this stuff really is. It's not, he did sign off on it, but you could tell the whole time he was like, yeah, but let's not get too excited. Okay? Let's not get too excited.
Yeah, the other thing he was talking about, the answer off in the Fox News.
Oh my God, the other day he said it was boring.
Oh yeah, no one's interested. Who do even care about this sex scandal having thousands of billionaires in it and every politician in history?
It's strangely It's strangely out of touch for somebody who, I mean, say what you want about Trump. One of the things that he's generally good at is figuring out what is salacious
Reading the room,
and what
reading the
people want to
temperature,
know
yeah,
about.
getting eyes on.
And
He
that's
understands what people want to see, and how does he's just using.
Well, no, he knows it's salacious. It's not that he
Mhm.
thinks it's actually boring,
Which is why he
it's
thought
that
to
he
use
needs
it,
to
even though
portray
he's
it.
the
He needs to
guy.
portray it that way.
right, yeah. Which is, I mean, that's the main tell here. It's like, and I think that's why we're seeing more people on the right track, is that this is a lie that he can't successfully tell to everybody who's been along for the ride up to this point. I mean, and that goes both for people who might actually have a shred of integrity when it comes to stopping an international child molesting ring, as well as people who can just see the writing on the walls of where the political headwinds are going. So, yeah, it's definitely weird, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, Black Widow, I think if there's nothing else you want to close on, we'll
Thank you
let
for
you
the
go.
call.
But thank you so much for jumping in.
Dylan, we're
Oh,
having our guests.
thank you for having me.
We're having our
I'll be
guests
back.
award the callers, like, kind of think of it as like a 1 to 5, 5 being a great call, and put that at like 500 Grift coin. But unless they do super amazing, then you can give them up to 1,000. So like kind of rate it 1 to 5 and send them out with some Grift coin if you think they deserve it.
This money, I'm going to inflate your currency. Give him 1,000 Grift coin.
Give them
Oh, boy.
1,000.
4 digits worth of fake currency going to Black Widow. Thank you.
That's why I was here.
We are building a lot of ways. We've taken a lot of meetings on how to build the Grift coin so that it doesn't overinflate and become valueless. And we've got a lot of different mechanisms that we can play with to take Grift coin in and out of.
You've got your own Jerome Powell.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
actually we were talking to a gentleman who has a little bit of economic knowledge. Talking about, I was like, "Can you be our treasurer, man? Because like we're doing our best. We're pretty intelligent people, but like we're not economists, so."
I'm a music school dropout. I'm barely qualified to do any of this.
Yeah, and to any members of Dylan's audience, if our mission sounds like something that you vibe with and you want to come help us build this thing, we are looking for interesting people with good ideas to help us out here. We're open to that. We've been working the last 6 months or so on slowly building up these systems and the bot algorithm that Kyle's made so that we can buy and sell ideologies, and it's got like an artificial demand curve that's built in from actual crypto scams that helps you like determine the price over time based on market action. And but at the same time, you know, like we'd love to have people come in and help us figure out what this space is going to be.
Anyway, Black Widow, thank you so much for coming on. We'll say goodbye to you now, but
Bitcoin too.
It's on its way. You should have gotten it by now, but hopefully we'll chat with you again in the future, all right?
Thank you. Bye, Dylan.
All right.
Thank you, neighbor.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
All right, that was Black Widow calling in with some thoughts about Epstein and whether Melania is going to be the leaky faucet. Time will tell.
I just want to throw out there that somebody in my chat did say that they would join, but they don't have Discord and they don't have any opinions that isn't a Fed post.
That's tough to do
Fair
right
enough.
now. It is an especially difficult time to be a left-wing creator right now.
Yeah,
because
a couple
lot
people.
of basic human instincts become dicey to say. Yeah, it's a tough world right now.
There's a few people that have prominent in the left-wing space that have gotten in trouble. I mean, Destiny, of course, is no stranger to courting controversy with some of the things he says. But even Wick the other day on that debate he had with Rob Noor got pretty spicy. Did you catch that one, Dylan?
No, I don't. I don't follow Rob Noor's adventures too closely.
Oh no! Well, you're missing out. Let me tell you.
We've got a great little short saying that Rob Noor is the cold shower of online debates. Yeah.
What did Rob and Wick go at it at? What did Wick say? What did Wick do?
Well, they were talking about the Preddy shooting, I believe. Was that correct, James?
Yeah. And just both of the incidents in general, and Wick ended up advocating for actually like lying to police, but then Rob Noor not not happy to just take a win on that and say, hey, that's not okay. Accused Wick of wanting to create violence against the police and effectively accused him of terrorism at that point and insurrection. What do you think about the morality of obviously it would be illegal to lie to police, but let's just how do we have this conversation without Fed posting in a hypothetical world where is there a line where in a hypothetical world you would feel it was okay to lie to an authority figure that you thought was going to bring violence against people you cared about?
Yeah.
Obviously, guys, it shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't
Well,
be
I mean,
hard to talk about
look,
this.
I mean, it's not hard for you to like draw up a scenario where like I would choose myself over an officer. Officer thinks it's the right house. It's the wrong house on the warrant. Kicks in the door. All I see is some masked man with a gun charging in. I go, I shoot. We're trying to defend my family. Like you can draw out all these scenarios where I would say in that circumstance, it was the officer's fault. Even if the officer at a certain point could have had a legal right to shoot because he would be threatened by someone pulling a gun. You went into that man's house. He had no clue what to expect. Like you could draw scenarios where you're not working with an officer as far as to shoot at an officer could be morally permissible. It's not that fun to be running out these scenarios because I don't like to see the boys in blue get shot or like imagine these scenarios.
Yeah.
But we must understand that ultimately officers have their role to protect the rest of us and to protect society as a whole and to allow us to have the foundation to have peaceful, normal lives. If they go outside the bounds of that goal when engaging with the general public, then anybody, officers, non-officers, civilians included, should understand that there comes repercussions with that.
Yeah. And that's a line that these recent shootings really have drawn in society. Do you feel like the right wingers, if the roles were reversed, would immediately just be speaking out of the other side of their mouth on this issue?
If we had Caroline Levitt or anybody, I mean, if we had no. Let me think of who would be. I don't know if Hillary Clinton during the Obama admin came out and said nobody can bring a gun to a protest. Bringing guns to a protest is illegal. That's why that militia guy got shot in the back 10 times, because you shouldn't be bringing guns to a protest. You would have the largest Second Amendment protest probably in American history in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, to have somebody openly discard, in the case we had now, an FBI director openly discard the Second Amendment when talking about Alex Peretti's constitutional rights, which he has as an American citizen. That's something that it's really hard to imagine. I can see him giving up the Fourth Amendment. Most people don't even know what the Fourth Amendment is, or the 10th, but the second? No, I don't believe that. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I would say that's kind of hard to believe in retrospect.
Yeah.
I mean, not in retrospect, looking forward, imagining the future. But it's where we are. It's where we are. It's not something they defended for long, but it's a position they picked up for a night when they thought they had to.
Yeah, it's disappointing to not see the NRA coming out a bit harder in support of Peretti.
Philando Castile. You can go right back to Philando Castile's case. This is a black man who was shot by an officer who had the legal right to carry, was murdered in the front seat of his car. The NRA barely said anything, and I think the reason they didn't say much about it, even though this man had a constitutional right to carry, is that because it had the aesthetics of the Black Lives Matter movement. Their fundraisers come from a different political aesthetic, and they did not want to have that mark on them. There are organizations like FIRE that are principled and are going to stand up no matter what and say, I care about the free speech rights of the Klan, I care about the free speech rights of Antifa, I care about the free speech rights of everybody, because the free speech rights of one person is the free speech rights of everybody. The NRA did not act that way when it comes to gun rights. Support other pro Second Amendment rights groups if you can.
Do you happen to know of any that would be worthy of support?
I mean, if you're a lefty, people always talk about like the John Brown Gun Club, but honestly, anything but the NRA.
Just to let them know.
They have proven to be pretty.
That takes away that authority from them, and
it doesn't even need to be. It doesn't need to be John Brown Gun Club or some lefty gun club. Just a gun club or an organization that's advocating for Second Amendment rights will not be politically partisan for the people that they have fine wine dinners with in DC.
We oh, sorry. Go ahead, James, if you had something to say there. Well, I was just going to say that on this topic, our first episode had on Counterpoints, who's a former law enforcement officer, and we had a few other people calling in with similar backgrounds. The consensus that we had amongst, I mean, myself not having a legal background and not really knowing how to argue legal interpretation, I can't really participate in the was it legal or not. I don't have any background on that. What I do feel more strongly about, and I think is way easier to argue, and for what it's worth, Counterpoints agreed with us that it was a morally bankrupt decision on the part of the ICE officers to shoot Preddy and Good. Maybe with slightly different justifications for each of those. I find both of those to be pretty bitch made, perhaps I would say, and that seems to be where the worthwhile argument is to have. I mean, Connor had some really good ideas for how to improve police tactics in order to avoid situations like this. Do you have any input on whether or not something like this could be interpreted as illegal?
I mean, there's a few things that they could do. They could, respect people's basic rights. They could respect the Fourth Amendment right. They could respect the 10th Amendment right. They could respect the Second Amendment right and First Amendment rights. If they respect people's property rights, if they respect people, going to call them bastards and they can't tackle them to the ground outside of a Target if they don't like what some kid is saying about them. If they start to respect the community more, then maybe there won't be Alex Preddy coming up and kicking out your taillights. If you don't treat people like the huddled masses under your boot, then maybe you won't even have a Renee Good situation to begin with. Yeah. Maybe she wouldn't have parked up her car there if you hadn't already engaged in a bunch of behavior that isn't just a question about separating families and the morality of deportation, but also things that could trample upon the rights of their neighbors. When you're somebody from out of town, fed from outside. So I would say that these are all things that could have been done to avoid the situation. As for what could have been done in the situations themselves, in Renee's Good case, he could have not approached the car. It is already police training to not approach the car, so I cannot advise people to not approach the car because both Counterpoints and I agree, and any cop that knows their 2 cents, that you're not supposed to approach a moving vehicle as a police officer, that's inherently dangerous. And after doing that, once the car started to turn away, what could he have done? He could have moved out of the way. If he could have moved himself in front of the car, he could have moved himself out of the way of the car. If he had the vision and the knowledge to see that they were about to step on it and run him over, he should have also had the vision and the knowledge to see them turning and getting away from the situation. So there has to also be an acceptance that sometimes it's better to just let them go than to take out your gun and start firing and start blasting. I understand that you don't want a suspect to flee the scene, but all you did was make it much harder for anybody else to try to do immigration enforcement in the city because you ruined your image. You fucking killed a fucking mother of 2, and she probably would have just been picked up 30 minutes later if they just moved out of the fucking way. Yeah. So I think a lot of this is reinforcing previous training, and so that makes me wonder about the type of training like ICE officers are getting, period.
Weren't there reports that they had a very loose acceptance rate in terms of like the people they were willing to bring on? For all they might have
there has been instances of ICE anti-ICE activists getting approved to join ICE through the process, and they're like, come out to the facility and start training. These are people who literally follow ICE, blow whistles, like film them. Like there seems to be a real need for them to take about everybody they can. And there has been instances where people are going through the process only for them to find out after the fact that they have charges or of stuff like that. I'm waiting for one of these days when they're going to find out an undocumented immigrant is deporting people for ICE.
God,
it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
It would take one very brave man.
There was that one fella, and I don't want to make any accusations that he was an illegal immigrant, but he had a very thick Central or South American accent, and what he said to somebody was, "You raise your voice, I will erase your voice." Whoa. That was a particularly ironic moment, considering that gentleman clearly, maybe he went through the proper channels, but he's an
immigrant, yeah, it's
right that he's an immigrant, and I can understand that an immigrant might be passionate about people not skipping the line, doing things the right way, but given the activities of ICE and with their accusations that are more or less confirmed at this point that they're deporting American citizens, that's a bad look, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't really care much about like the skin color or their immigration background because it's very easy for me to calculate in my head. In their head, they came here the right way, so they can behave that way, and that this is them like enforcing the system that they literally use to join the United States. And there's also a belief of like, I'm in the boat. I'm in the boat now. I gotta, I gotta keep the boat. I gotta keep, and not even necessarily pull up the ladder. I gotta get these other guys out of the boat. It's more, you gotta throw them off. You gotta throw them overboard. And so I mean, I understand the logic. This is not something new, but it is sometimes strange. I remember I would not make this joke, but my colleague Patrick Hillsman, he would make a joke where sometimes he would see an ICE agent and he would be like, "Hey Dylan, hey cabron, deportas, you deporta," as he just keep making like the voice and making like an accent like he was coming up in Spanish deporting people.
Oh no!
Boy, that's
it was truly the edge of dark woke.
I mean,
we have ridden that line already, my friend. In the first episode, there are moments where I'm just
without crossing over into any actual Fed posting territory.
Yeah.
With that said, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about this idea of disbanding ICE. I think with the conversation with policing in our country, it's often framed, especially by people on the right, in terms of the legal obligation that the citizens have towards respecting police and law enforcement agencies. I think that not enough is said in a clean way about the moral obligation that these law enforcement agencies have to earn the trust of the citizens. With that said, do you think that ICE as an organization has lost the trust to the point where we should just disband them and use different organizations for enforcing our border, or do you think that they should just be reformed? Do you think
10 years ago, saying abolish ICE was seen as no different as saying abolish immigration enforcement. And when leftist advocates talked about abolishing ICE, that's how it was presented, to the point where people were like lefties and progressives and Democrats were kind of afraid sometimes to engage with that word because they didn't want to basically be seen to be saying, we don't need borders. Borders are racist. They didn't want that perception to be the perceived reality of people in the voting booth. And so they distanced themselves from that rhetoric. Now, a plurality of Americans want ICE gone. They want the organization gone. Not a majority, a plurality. But if ICE continues their behavior, it will soon be a majority. And so I am of the belief that at this point, after interacting with as many ICE agents as I have, seen their general demeanor, it would probably be of everyone's best interest to just wipe it and start it all over from scratch again.
Yeah, I think
that's not my opinion.
Issue.
Now, reining them in, reforming them, like bringing in people to overwatch them, this would all be better than the current state of affairs. But the only way I know we can have a fresh start is if we have a real fresh start. And so if I was to have godly powers to either start over or choose which way we go over, I would start over. I would start from scratch with a new organization, with new leadership, with clear guidelines, and try to establish a new culture. Because, you can put in a new guideline here, a new guideline there, but it only matters if the guidelines are followed. We just found out today that the two ICE officers that shot those people in the leg between the Renee Good and Alex Preddy shootings in Minneapolis, those ICE officers lied. How do we know that? ICE said so. ICE came out and said they lied. And so it's also going to be dependent upon, their good behavior and them being able to follow the regulations. But that's based sometimes in culture, not in a direct policy, and like how officers are willing to carry themselves, overlook things. And that's a lot harder to legislate. How the officers feel, what they're used to doing after 20, 25 years off the force, why they joined the force to begin with. If somebody joined, thinking they're going to raise hell and that's not really what they're here to do, that doesn't mean they're not going to raise hell anyway, even if that's not what their boss wants them to do. So I think there is a value in starting from scratch.
Yeah, and it's the creation of ICE and the expansions of ICE funding have given them operational power that goes beyond what the CBP was established and created to do, and we can just refold anything that is good from ICE back into CBP and and
and it's not like
break
we've
that
never
balance.
had a country without ICE. We've had like just immigration
only, like,
enforcement
15
before
years
ICE.
old,
ICE was created during the Bush administration. It's not particularly like a foundational institution in this country.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it created with the increases to like Homeland Security and everything, so we can additionally message
that's
on
why it's
that
under
as like a
DHS.
rake back of all of that overreach by federal powers.
And DHS right now is already losing popularity too. It isn't just ICE that's losing popularity. First Trump term, DHS had a popularity rating of 59%. Of course, a certain amount of the population doesn't even know really what their job is, but still, that's not a bad approval rating for a government agency in this country, 59%.
Yeah.
Now it's 40%. You have had a near 20-point swing, and that first poll was done during the first Trump administration. So something changed between first Trump and second Trump, and the only thing that could have changed is Kristi Noem and ICE.
Yeah. It's staggering just how much goodwill they sold down the water in just 1 year. And I'm not saying they didn't get a good price for it. It's, billions and tens and billions of dollars and wedging themselves into business in every direction. But it's just staggering how much they thought they could get away with, and how they keep just being so shamelessly and unabashedly their most narcissistic selves over and over again. Like, at some point it seems like some amount of self-preservation and basic competence might kick in, but it feels like we still just aren't seeing it.
Well, you gotta you ever watch like AI solve a maze?
No.
Well, if you ever watch AI solve a maze, the way they do it is they'll try to go down the maze, they'll find a dead end, and then they'll start over. Now with the new data input that's a dead end, then they'll hit another dead end, and they'll essentially repeat the process until they get to the end of the maze.
Actually,
when you look at those,
seen this because there was these cool there's this cool mini RC robot racing thing where it's an AI that tries to learn how to map out different difficulties of maze in like quicker and quicker times. And it's really, really interesting to watch those. Highly recommend.
It's kind of like those rat mazes, but instead of a rat, it's AI.
It's an AI RC car. It's very cool.
When you look at Donald Trump's inner circle, those are the people who are able to get through that maze of trying to get into Trump's inner circle and have gotten to the end. And all the ways that you could have met a dead end is, I don't know, integrity, not willing to be able to look over like corruption or thievery, certain diehard religious principles, maybe. For example, like Mike Pence,
any spine to have any reason to do anything but just glaze Trump and
a dedication
Trump.
to the Constitution, to democracy. Oh, these are all potential dead ends.
Yeah.
And one thing that is reinforcing, bringing you maybe the cheese smell that attracts the rat. An example for Kristi Noem, what was that? That was, if every time I worship him, I move forward in the party. Every time I worship him, I get more influence. I get closer. There's
closer
to the
no
power.
Motivations to do anything to oppose power.
And when you listen to Pam Bondi, I don't know if you listened to Pam Bondi's testimony before the committee. I listened to it all twice. She's not speaking to the committee. She's not speaking to the American people. She's speaking to one person, and that one person was Donald J. Trump. Why would you be pivoting from Jeffrey Epstein to the Dow? Why would you be pivoting to the Jeffrey Epstein to all these local administrative or fucking like local crime issues, to every single legislator that's asking you? Why would you shift from this to Donald Trump being the greatest, most genius, most stable president ever? It's because she knows that Trump is a media hog, and he's sitting on his couch with his Diet Coke cracked open, sipping, listening to every word she's saying, and she's trying to stay in the game. Mike Waltz couldn't do it, Dan Bongino couldn't do it, and a lot of people from the first term couldn't do it, but she's trying to hang in there. And so that, to me, is the behavior that all those people share, is their ability to brown nose to otherworldly levels and to be willing to fight with each other for the man's attention in his court. And so it's not that like no other administrations have infighting. It's not that no other administration you can get forward by brown nosing, but loyalty is the end all be all test here.
The main
and so I think that right there, that's the biggest dead end, the loyalty dead end. Yeah. Mike Pence wasn't able to pass it.
You know, I heard someone else say, and if you think back on the testimony, you might see this through that lens a little bit. Is sometimes when she answered questions, it felt kind of non sequitur, right? Like obviously she, and that could be explained by the playing to the audience of one, but someone else told me that it's also playing to, she's just got a list of sound bites that she needs to get out for Fox News, and she runs through them, and even if they're non-responsive to whatever's actually being discussed, like she's asked to apologize to the victims and brings up the Dow Jones.
She asked them to apologize to Trump instead. Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, that's.
Hey, could you apologize to those people who was raped by the sex pest you keep covering everything up for? Can you apologize to the most powerful man on the planet? Like, very good aesthetics.
The most beautiful, undiaper wearing. He no shit in his pants whatsoever. Yeah, please pay homage to him. There was one fascinating development that came from that, and that was the photographer who caught the page of search history from various people on that committee. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I just heard about this. Yeah. Apparently, her notes included like a search history results for some major politicians like senators and etc. And that's they think it was intentional to let them know, we're watching you. We know what's behind, what's in your dark closet too. Have you heard about that at all?
No, but I mean, I know this is Roy Cohn shit. I mean, if we want to get down to Trumpian philosophy 101, we got to go back to when he was a baby boy, gold spoon child. Roy Cohn, this is an old fixer type. This is the type of man who would get dirt on people being gay and then leverage it against him as a homosexual. This is a really, really scummy dude that basically trained Donald Trump to be the man he is today. He didn't exactly train him, but he was a big influence on his life, on him coming up. And the strategy you learn from somebody like a lawyer like Roy Cohn being in your purview is attack. Man, if they're attacking you, just attack them 10 times harder. You just hit them 10 times harder. And anytime they would say, hey, look, go look at the victims. What about this child that was raped in your district? Hey, can you please answer me about this? Oh, really? What about this mother of two that was stabbed to death? It's always, you got to go harder, more gross, more visceral in your descriptions of the crime.
They're eating your pets.
Yeah. And it does everything possible to grab a man's or a person's senses and drag it towards fuck them, not fuck me. And by the time
we are after 8 years, yeah.
And by the time you're going back and forth over what's going on in their district, you've already forgotten that the original question was about why haven't you indicted anybody?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tragic just how far our media environment has degraded into all of this. And it's tough to see how we bring ourselves back out of this. There's just so much stacked against us. We have all of these media outlets just controlled by a few individuals, and they get to filter through their algorithm what they think the world needs to be like. It's tough to imagine how we're going to get through all this, especially when it just feels like when you're having conversations with somebody on the other side of the aisle, there's so little shared ground, shared reality. Yeah.
I mean, like a big part of my work in Ukraine is just coming back, trying to explain how things really are.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, I remember once I was at I don't think I've ever told this story before. I was at a German milsurp shop. It's like basically like an army surplus, and I got like a new camera bag there, and it was a nice, good old like East German camera bag. It wasn't meant for cameras, but I used it for my camera. And as I was leaving, like somehow the German like store owner like had heard that like I was going to Ukraine, and he was like, oh, what's really going on over there? And I try to like give an actual description. He's like, and it just doesn't compartmentalize from where he's getting the sources. Like, I don't trust DW News. I get my stuff from Facebook. And like, am I supposed to sit there and like go back and forth with this guy over like what's really going on and what's really? It would take it's a lot easier to take shit, spear it on the wall than it is to go there and actually scrub off. No, it's not true that Crimea was always supposed to be Russian, or it's not true that Zelensky snorting coke in his limousine with his wife in the fucking Italian mountains or whatever the hell you think. And it's a lot of work, but establishing that shared reality, you need a foundation to build a house.
Yeah.
You need a foundation to build a house. And so while it's the hardest part, it is important. It is important. The hardest part of home construction in my mind has always been permitting. So I guess, getting that solid foundation is always difficult.
Indeed. Dylan, I want to be respectful of your time, and unfortunately, the prospective callers have been too timid to jump in. Aside from Black Widow, I appreciate that you've been with us for some time now. Do you have a time that you want to get out of here by? We of course would love to have you for as long as you want to stick around, but I understand that you're in a different time zone than us, so I want to give you that.
I'm in the United States right now.
Indeed, as are we. We are. We've
West
got
Coast?
some. Indeed.
Yeah. We're the West.
Got you. I'm East Coast, so I got 3 hours on you.
Yep. Yeah. So
very good.
Beautiful.
Well,
if you got a few more questions, I can go a little bit longer. I can go another 15 minutes.
Sure.
Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna ask one. Have you ever had a Hadley's crab cake?
Oh wait, you were asking me about my pipe, and number one, I haven't had that type of crab cake. I am the most harsh crab judge in the world. I swear to God, like I talk to people as if they're trash if they give me bad crab.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
I become a different
This
person. I become evil.
This is
evil.
a suggestion from a Baltimorean. Okay. From my.
Let me tell you a story. I was out there on the Donetsk front. I just come back from the front line. I wanted to just, chill. And I go to this cafe, a bunch of soldiers are eating there, and I see that they have crab sushi. Now, let me tell you, in that moment, I'm thinking, I'm in the Donetsk region. I'm about 15 miles from the front line. This is like within like missiles could hit this place, drones could hit this place. Like, it might actually just be within artillery range for the longest range artillery. Why the fuck would they have actual crab in this establishment? And my mind's telling me, no, it can't be. It's going to be every time it's artificial crab. Every time it's artificial crab. Don't do it. Don't do it. Excuse me, can I order some crab sushi?
Oh, and you got Pollock, didn't you?
They bring that out to me. And in front of me, I see it's artificial crab. And then they take gold dust and gold bits. And then they sprinkle it in front of me as I'm surrounded by war-weary people. People like literally coming back from the front line like, oh, I lost my buddies. Oh, I can't believe my house is burned down. And the American walks in, orders one thing, and then the whole room just sees him go, wee, sprinkling gold on my dish. I didn't ask for it. They just started sprinkling gold chunks on it like I was I was like a fucking king. It was terrible. It was the worst sushi I ever had. The gold just was crunchy and it was weird. I didn't like it.
With
like
a
this
side
gold
of
foiling.
shame.
and I didn't like the stares I got as the Yankee. He was like, oh, an American walked in. I wonder what he's gonna order. I want gold. I want to eat gold. I don't like that perception.
Let me just
That's
order
not good for the
everything you have
country.
in the back room and put it on my table and let.
And so I will no longer order any type of crab in Eastern Europe. I ordered like a crab cake in Minnesota. That was a mistake. And by God, I can't believe I ordered crab in fucking Donetsk region.
Dodge the landlocked seafood.
Yeah, okay? I got it. But every time I see it, I'm just like, my instinct is like crab, for it.
Yeah, because if you grow up on the coast, then someone says they got crab, they got fucking crab because there's an ocean over here. That's where you get the crab.
Where was the crab place the person from Baltimore said?
I think it was Hadley's. Let me get that.
No, not Hadley's. There's this. I think it's called Nub. There's a place like Nubs or something.
Shadley's?
I go to in Baltimore. There's a place I go to in Baltimore for my crab cakes. Not a too expensive place.
She
you
said
get a hammer, you
break
up the crabs.
I'll be with you one moment.
All right. Well,
let me look up my Baltimore crab place.
Sure. We want to make
my
sure
big place is Chicken Roots. I like Chicken Roots in Annapolis. That's my diner and my favorite diner in all of Maryland.
Chicken Roots, you said?
Chicken Roots in Annapolis.
All right.
It is a institution.
All right. We're getting word that the crab cakes are Fadley's crab cakes. Have you had a famous Fadley's crab cake?
No. When I'm in Baltimore, I go to LP Steamers.
Okay.
If they're from Baltimore, they should know where that is.
This is a suggestion from someone with fantastic taste, okay? They won't steer
What was it called again?
Fadley's.
Fadley's.
Yeah.
I'm looking for there it is, Fadley's Seafood.
I
got 4 stars
my
on Yelp.
research, and I think she grew up like a county south of where y'all are from. She was in Dundalk for her early years.
I'm from
Dundalk.
gorgeous Prince George's.
Oh, gorgeous indeed.
Well, it's a shame
Frederick
that
Douglass's county, for anybody who might not know where that is. Frederick
yeah.
Douglass's county in Maryland.
Frederick Douglass, an early was he a freed slave that became a public intellectual on and speaking about human rights?
it's been a minute since I've done my U.S. history
I believe
class,
he
but that
was. I
sounds
believe
right.
Frederick Douglass was born free.
Okay.
Okay.
Frederick
But in
Frederick
the time
Douglass
of slaves.
Let me actually look it up if he ever was. Frederick Douglass, abolitionist orator, writer. He was the most important. Yeah. I know that.
Very
You don't need to
cool
tell me he's
guy.
important in Wikipedia. Thank you. No, he was enslaved. He escaped slavery in Maryland.
Yeah.
Because we had
Incredible.
slavery throughout the entire Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Abraham Lincoln said we could keep it. Actually, it was
Really?
they were scared that we were going to leave the Union because Maryland, DC is right there. So if Maryland leaves the Union, our state
starts to fall
anthem,
apart,
Maryland,
yeah.
my Maryland, I think we might have changed it. But when I was working as a page, it was still the state anthem. I still think it is. But it's literally a poem, Maryland, my Maryland, to join the Confederacy.
Mm.
Our state
Oh.
anthem was literally a poem
Ooh.
written by somebody saying, please join, please. Like, I think like one of the lines in it is, who braved the patriotic gore that hit the streets of Baltimore. That's referencing the riots that happened against recruitment and conscription for the war. So it's like, we had a very divided state. The majority of us served with the Union. Sometimes it's played up a little bit. I'm like obsessive about Maryland Civil War history, but we got to keep the institution of slavery longer than essentially the rest of the Union because Lincoln was that scared of the old line state essentially leaving the Union and losing him the war.
You guys are just north of the Mason-Dixon, or are you the Mason-Dixon?
Just north. We literally are the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
We're just north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah. Well, if they haven't yet, hopefully somebody will get around to rewriting that poem or maybe getting you a more time appropriate one for the modern day.
What sucks is it's a really good song. So I don't know
Isn't
what
that always
other
the way?
anthem. It's like our everyone loves our flag. Our governor actually just had a controversy. I was at his election party. He's pretty well liked. You know, some people might not like tax increases and stuff, but he's still pretty popular in the state. He hinted for a moment. He said that our state flag is a contradiction, and because our state flag is also a symbol of reunification and reuniting as a country
And
between
like
the
a
South and the
feudal lord,
North.
right?
Yes, and the Lord of Baltimore. Yeah, so I don't know if we call it feudal, but still, it's like the Lord of Baltimore. It's, of course, it has his symbology of his family. And he said, it's a contradiction in reference to like this brutal history of like, do we really want to have a flag that has like any type of sympathetic feelings towards the Marylanders who fought for the Confederacy, right? And the reaction was so negative to the governor overnight. I mean, like, I saw random ass small business. It'd be like a paper company, like posting the Maryland flag. Every restaurant posting the Maryland flag. Every senator and legislator, Maryland flag, Maryland flag, Maryland flag. And it went from him not answering questions about whether he thinks the flag should be changed to within 24 hours, he was saying, I will always defend the flag of Maryland. The Maryland flag is the greatest flag in the entire union. It's like, yeah, we got them colors.
Yeah. Well, that's
I guess that's what having principles gets you in politics sometimes.
Well, look, all I know is it's cool that we have a flag that's so beloved that people are like immediately.
It looks cool.
They're like,
It looks
no,
red.
it's. I think it's one of the best color combinations out of any flag, and it's unique. And we have no other flag in the union looks like that.
yeah. Isn't always the way. You think something's
It's
cool,
one
and
of the
it
few
turns out it's got a
two-sided
racist
flags in
history.
the Union.
Oh,
You know what we should do? You know what? If we change a flag, we should do it like Nepal, where we have a shape that's not like a rectangle, just like a little triangle flag or something to stay different. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, we've got a tradition that we're trying to start here on the Marketplace of Ideas, where we finish up our conversations with some meme questions. But before we do, I do want to make sure that I ask you: do you have any upcoming projects that you want to forecast for in the near future? Something similar like what you did in Ukraine.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to be releasing a documentary called Ice Fishing in Minneapolis. I went to Minneapolis for a week and I followed ice around and I filmed their activities. They didn't seem too hyped about it, but we did it anyway. And we also filmed some of the nighttime police response, the protest, a lot of the community activism, had some interviews with locals. We filmed Jake Lang coming to town, the J6er, and the very not happy local response to it. It should be a really interesting peer into the very end of Operation Metro Surge. Right after we leave, Operation Metro Surge ends. So you get to see through our documentary the closing of that chapter in Minneapolis history, as well as how Minneapolis was able to organize in order to essentially create like an entire community connected through single chats and whistles, and like anytime ICE was moving, people knew about it. And that was through community organizing. And so other cities might be interested in exactly what went down on the streets of Minneapolis.
Yeah,
absolutely. Living in a city, I live in Portland, so there's always that idea that we'll be seeing something similar in the near future. So I'll definitely be interested for that reason, and just out of curiosity and seeing more of your work. I am curious about the process.
Oh, one last one. I also did have another project I released last month. Not a lot of people checked that one out, but it's we see through the eyes of a commander as they lead a prisoner squad of Ukrainian soldiers in an assault, as well as night bomber operations, training, and also a pastor as he prepares soldiers to do that type of work, as he preaches to them. So what type of things would you tell a man before he's about to assault a trench? What type of things would you tell a man before he goes off to fight for his country? It's very interesting to see how a war priest talks in comparison to a civilian priest, because it's a lot more themes of, we bless that the enemy's path is treacherous and will be crushed in the dust of. It's interesting. Almost, I know I hate to do like I hate to do these types of very Old Testament. Yeah. It's felt like something like a priest out of Warhammer 40K. Sometimes I was listening to. I was like, okay, you're into this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're trying to keep people in that mindset, you kind of have to a certain degree. When you're making these productions, are you editing and constructing as you go, or are you taking all the footage and figuring out what you can put together after the fact?
After. I mean, I get an idea that I'm building the film in my head as I go. I don't have like a piece of paper. Like I see, like after I film a shot, I'm like, I know what I'm going to do with this. It doesn't always be like that, but 60 to 70, 75% of the time, I have an idea as I'm shooting exactly what I want to do. Like towards the end of the process, I can like tell my fixer or tell whoever I'm going with, okay, I still need to get this, and this, because I need to fill this hole. I need to fill this hole. And we're still looking for this vital component for the story. So I have an idea of structure in my mind as we go, but I only sit down, list out everything, make the outlines, all of that once I'm done and I have all my footage collected. And so a lot of times, yeah.
Oh, and so you just finished this project about ice fishing in Minnesota, yeah?
Yeah. I got back. I got back on like Sunday night is when I got back, and I've been working the whole week to get the script done. And tonight I'm supposed to give the script over to my editors so we can hopefully have the documentary out by the end of the month. But that means that I'm streaming, working on my scripts, doing the voiceovers, and I had to stop production on a separate documentary to do this one. This ice fishing documentary was really spur of the moment. After Alex Peretti was shot, I was like, I'm going to Minneapolis.
Well, definitely look forward to. Looking forward to seeing the finished product when that's ready. James, do we have some good meme questions that we can finish with Dylan here?
Ooh, do we have any good meme questions? Well, the first one that comes to mind off the list was if you could have any fictional person be president, who would it be?
Frosty the Snowman. You wouldn't have to worry about term limits.
Good point.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd be in and out.
Kyle, do we have a list somewhere? We didn't bring that up for this episode yet.
We didn't have a list. I think that was our biggest one, unfortunately. So we blew our meme question load there. And I think that's honestly a pretty good note to end on.
Sure.
Dylan,
good as any.
Thank you so much for joining us as we find our bearings in this online space.
Absolute pleasure.
We appreciate everything that you did.
This was an interesting production process. I could definitely see like the wires like taped to the ceiling, and like
indeed.
I could see the the ship, trying to get out of port. But you know what? I blessed the ship. I smashed the champagne bottle. I wish it good luck. I'm kind of sweating. I'm certainly not the one insuring the ship, but I still send you guys, send you guys all the good luck in the world.
Well, I think we'll learn to steer it by the time we get too far into deep waters. So hopefully at some point we will earn the right to have you back on the show and maybe have a slightly more polished production worthy of your time.
We hope.
Sure. Look, I love debating callers. We didn't get to do much of that today, but I love that stuff. I don't do it very often because my community doesn't really want to debate me on much. And most people don't like debating foreign policy. A lot of people don't feel comfortable doing it, or maybe they don't feel comfortable debating me on foreign policy.
Well, hopefully as we build out our audience and bring in more of a heterodox environment, we'll have a more ripe harvestable group of
Counterpoints
callers
coming on again tomorrow or next Monday, and then we are tentatively speaking to somebody in Ryan McClaley's community and plausibly having him on. So we'll start to draw a little bit more of a conservative audience, and we'll get things a little bit more tense in here. Right now we're kind of getting the message out and just having.
What have you ever thought about having on a lefty and a righty on the same time while you took callers?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we'd love to.
You know what? If you'd be interested, I'm sure we could get Counterpoints or Ryan McClaley plausibly interested in a discussion. If you,
I don't know who Ryan McClaley is. I can just, if I want to talk to Counterpoints, I'll just call him.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure,
I'll just call him.
Yeah,
well, would
fair
you
enough.
let us try and schedule a debate? How about that?
Who is Ryan McClaley? Is this?
Oh, I'm
who's this Irishman?
I might be Irishing up a little bit more than it deserves, but he's a New York lawyer, conservative. He runs a podcast that he calls Natural Law with Ryan McClaley. And
I've debated Counterpoint so many times. I would just want it to be somebody else.
Sure,
for sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah, well, you know what? We'll message you if we have anything on the line sometime. We'll get in touch.
Hey,
I'm very
Dylan,
open. You know how to contact me. Super
beautiful. We'll keep in touch. Thank you so much, Dylan. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful
night
evening.
Bye bye.
Thank you, neighbor.
Well, wouldn't be an episode of the Marketplace of Ideas without a few hiccups, but
technical failures.
But hopefully, what people are seeing is an increase in momentum as we kind of catch our bearings, figure out how to do things.
Yeah, that was a wonderful conversation
process.
with Dylan. He's such a great
I loved
guy.
it.
Absolute
I loved
great.
it.
Absolute gem, hero of the American people, and of just like I said at the beginning, living up to your values. Absolute gem.
Well, we will chop this conversation up and get it on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed. So that anybody who, I don't know if we have any viewers right now, but hey, people will get to see it at eventually and in snippet form. So
well, we're going to sign off here. Thank y'all for coming to the Marketplace of Ideas. We'll be back this Monday with counterpoints if everything goes according to plans.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Hopefully more call-ins
in the near future. Ryan McClaley, no promises there. We haven't spoken with him directly. We're speaking with somebody who's a community member and hoping to get ourselves put there. I shouldn't be saying it as if it's anything more than that, but that's what we got going on.
Indeed. And then shortly after that, we'll be having Piers Morgan on.
Piers Morgan with Obama and Jesus.
Can you believe that?
Yep.
That's the only kind of that's the excitement you can only find right here on the Marketplace,
of Ideas. Thank you.
We almost said it at the same time. Damn it.